The basic materials needed for weaving are two sets of threads. The first set is called the warp, 2 rows stretched lengthwise. The second set is called the weft, and it goes back and forth between the warp. Every time the weft goes through, the warp moves to trap it. The threads are now becoming a piece of fabric. To keep them from unraveling, a reed pushes the threads together. Then, the whole process starts again. To mass produce a wide range of fabrics, thousands of different threads have to be organized. Devices called heddles provide control for the machine. Each one has an eye through which individual warps are threaded. This gives the machine control of thread movement. Heddles are suspended on the loom shafts located here. When a shaft is raised, the heddles go up and the threads move with them. A few hundred heddles and 2 shafts moving up and down together are required to create simple patterns. Industrial looms have thousands of heddles and up to 24 shafts, all moving independently. But how does this machine get its speed? To manufacture massive amounts of fabric in a cost-effective manner, the loom needs to move the weft through the warp as fast as possible. Old-style looms use a shuttle, which is a spool of thread that unravels as it's moved manually back and forth. Shuttles are reliable, but slow and in constant need of reloading. This presents 2 challenges for the modern loom. First, how to weave thread quickly without a shuttle and spool. Second, how to minimize thread reloading. Rapiers are one of the most efficient replacements for shuttles. One rapier picks up a piece of thread, pulls it to the middle of the warp, and passes it off to a second rapier. The second rapier pulls the thread the rest of the way across, while the first one goes back for another strand. Because spools no longer have to travel back and forth, the rapiers can draw thread from larger bobbins. This process results in less downtime for reloading, which dramatically improves the machine's productivity. On an industrial loom, this handoff happens over 1,000 times per minute. But how does the loom create different patterns and textures? A geometric pattern like plaid begins by loading the warp with rows of different colored thread. Sending dark and light colored threads through the rows, the loom can create almost any pattern. The trick is switching between colors. For that, the loom needs a Weft presenter, which is a component that selects colors from different bobbins and gives them to the rapiers while they work. For complex patterns, a loom with a jacquard attachment is required. This device controls all of the threads loaded into the machine. Instead of combining the threads together onto the shafts of a standard loom, every strand has its own control system. So with a jacquard attachment, operators can control the paths of each thread into ornate designs. Instructions are sent to each individual thread as it races through thousands of weaves to create a pattern.